Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Jessica and I'm the mental health mom. If you're joining me for the first time, then welcome. And you are in for a treat. Today is going to be a very satisfying day. My home is just a complete wreck. And I know a lot of homes get messy, but mine, when I say it's a disaster, guys, it's like level 5 post-apocalyptic disaster. And it doesn't just stop there for me. I'm an empathic person, as many counselors are, and as many people that share their stories on YouTube are. I've been seeing lots of inspiring stories from people dealing with depression and anxiety, and I think the world of individuals who are willing to share their emotional struggles, because it puts you in such a vulnerable position. And today I am one such person who's been struggling a lot lately with anxiety and depression. And when I say lately, it's been for about the past 4 days to a week. And it has nothing to do with postpartum or the difficulties of being a first-time mother, which I am. This is Tennyson, my 8-month-old daughter. Say hello. This really has everything to do with needing an overhaul in my life. Don't you say Dada, Mama? So when I was 16 years old, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, and I came to the realization through a lot of just self-exploration and discovery that I was, in fact, an empathic person. And I realized that as an empathic person, I absorb other people's energy. I absorb other people's emotions. That, in fact, it is a huge gift and an honor to be an empathic person. When it comes to me being a counselor, it is such an honor to be able to share experiences wholeheartedly with clients. When they are, for example, mourning someone's death, I'm very easily able to put myself in their shoes, and I often cry with them. I feel with all my heart that I know exactly where they're coming from and how they feel as much as I possibly can. I very easily pick up on, people's emotions, and likewise, anything that's going on in their body. If I have someone who is dealing with a lot of anxiety in my office, I will pick up their symptoms. I'll get really jittery as well. In many cases, my chest will get really tight. And so, with being an empathic person, it comes, this huge opportunity. It comes with this huge opportunity to be able to help other people and to be able to be there for other people and really, really see other individuals' perspectives. But it also leaves me completely vulnerable, because if I don't safeguard the people that I associate myself with, and if I don't, be really conscious of the effect that someone is having on me, or even the things that I'm eating, if I don't, watch things like caffeine and sugar, and make sure that I'm not putting pollution into my mind and my body, even making sure that the shows that I'm watching on TV are really uplifting shows, nothing that's going to be depressing. If I don't take care of all those areas, then I very easily become affected by them. So I really have to be smart and intentional about the things, the media, the people, the food, even objects that I allow into my life. And my house is always a really good representation of where I am emotionally. And so the fact that my house is a wreck, I was wondering, I've been trying to clean my house up for about a week. And I was wondering why I couldn't get it clean. It just seemed like every time I would try to clean it, I would work all day, honestly, trying to clean it, and I just got nowhere. And I was having a lot of trouble sleeping last night, and I came to the realization that, my house being a wreck is really representative of a much larger problem. My house is just the reflection, basically, of where I am emotionally right now. My house is a mess because I'm a bit of a mess. So this is going to be a satisfying video because I'm going to clean my whole house, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to evaluate all the other areas of my life. I find it very effective for me to really evaluate my emotions and my what's going on in, mentally with me, and even physically of any, to become more aware of any tension and stress that I'm holding in different parts of my body. I find it very easy to become more aware of these things and to evaluate these things when I'm cleaning, because there's just something about taking something that's messy and making it clean again, and shining surfaces, and lighting candles. There's just something about that not only cleans the things around me, but it seems to clean out my emotional and mental space and my soul as well. So I think this is going to be a really satisfying day for you guys. While I am cleaning my house, I'm going to kind of go through with you what is going on with me emotionally. And I hope that this can be, inspirational. I hope that it can pick you guys up as well. I have made a commitment to myself that once my house is clean, I'm going to let the rest of these things go. They have been adding stress and anxiety to my life. I'm going to evaluate as much as I can while I'm cleaning. I'm going to resolve as much as I can while I am cleaning. I'm going to take a good look at the people that are in my life that maybe I need to minimize my contact with, the food that I'm putting into my body, the shows or movies that I'm consuming, and the way in which I'm speaking to myself, my daughter, my husband. I'm really going to take a look at the things that I am putting in my path. And I say that I'm putting in my path because I want to take control over this. I don't want to have a victim mentality, because then that takes me out of the driver's seat. So I'm going to see how I contribute to these areas of anxiety and, depression in my own life. And I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to resolve everything. And I've made a commitment and a promise to myself that by the time my house is clean, which will be sometime today, when it's clean to the point that I am happy with at least and feel at peace with, my mind and my soul and my spirit will also be at peace. I'm going to put a wall up, and I'm not going to stress about these things anymore. I've allowed myself enough time, and if I haven't come to the conclusions or gained clarity on something that I need to by the time I'm done today, then I will just come to the understanding that it's not time, and that there's no reason to stress about it anymore. There's no reason to ruminate over it anymore, because I'll get the clarity on that when the time is right, when I really need that clarity. But until then, my daughter deserves more. She deserves to have her mother be more mentally and physically present, and my husband deserves more. There are so many people in my life who add so much value rather than take away. And they deserve for me to be at my best and to add value to their lives as well. I challenge you. Take a look around you, see what your house is looking like, and ask yourself if this is not a reflection of a larger issue, or any aspect of your life. I invite you to do some self-exploration while you're watching this, and I certainly hope you find it inspirational. Let's do this.
Oh baby, I wanted you to be here inside my arms where the night goes down.
Hi Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for today's Clean and Chat. I know this is the first video of this format, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know if you'd like to see more. I could definitely continue doing videos this way. Anytime I need some sort of conflict to be resolved, there's really no better way than just taking a good amount of time to cathartic, to vent, to think about it, to resolve it on my own. In addition, I love cleaning my house while doing that. So having some mental healing as well as a clean house, there really is no better combination for me. So let me know if you think so as well and give this video a thumbs up. I'd be happy to make more like this if you guys are interested. I do want to let you know that I didn't finish my video in one day. It actually took me 2 days to do this because although I, of course, had a lot of things I was dealing with, amidst all of that, I am still a mom. So I was having diaper changes and walking the dog and feeding the baby. I was still doing life while resolving my conflicts, which I think is just the epitome of what our life is. So it did take me the 2 days. I didn't get finished in the one day. And honestly, when I told you guys I wanted to get finished in one day, it was because I was just so mentally drained and exhausted. But I was flexible with myself, and I'm glad that I was, because by the end of that second day, I felt so much better. And I had a feeling at the end of the first day that if I just gave myself one more day, that I really would gain the clarity that I needed. I didn't need any more than one day, but I did need just a little bit more time. And so I was glad that I was not rigid with myself. I was glad that I allowed myself that flexibility to have the healing occur as it needed to and on its own time. So if you guys see me working as the sun is going down and then coming back up, don't worry, I did not work through the night. My husband actually got home early that first night, and so I took a break on cleaning the house and I hung out with he and my daughter, which was better for my overall mental health anyway. So what we're talking about today is how I, as a mental health counselor, worked through and resolved some of the depressive and anxious symptoms that I was feeling. I did use a method that I use quite often with my clients that I get a lot of compliments on. My clients really love these methods, and so I'm excited to share them with you guys because they're just so basic and easy to incorporate into your life. I find them to be very quick and effective as well, which is why I used them in my particular case. Now, one thing that is extremely important to cover, and please, if you hear nothing else in this video, hear this. My symptoms were only mildly uncomfortable, and they did not at this time meet the criteria for either major depressive disorder or generalized anxiety disorder. I was perfectly capable of taking care of me and my child. I wasn't staying in bed for a week. I was able to do the things that I needed to do. Like I said, the symptoms were uncomfortable. I was experiencing some fatigue, sadness, lack of motivation, but I had no suicidal or homicidal ideation, and I was in no way a danger to myself or my child. Your story may be different. You may be having trouble getting out of bed. You may be unable to care for yourself and your child. In addition, you may have had these symptoms for a long time, and so if that is the case, this video is not the answer for you. It might be helpful in your mental health journey, but this video really is intended for individuals who are not experiencing any suicidal or homicidal ideation and are experiencing mild symptoms, what many people would say is like situational depression. So if your mental health symptoms are impacting your ability to take care of you and your family, then please consult a therapist. You can find one at psychology.com. You can also Google community mental health clinics within your area. As a last resort, you can also reach out to me and I can help you find someone in your area as well. I would be more than happy to do that. The most important thing that I need to say is that if you are having suicidal thoughts or any intention of hurting yourself or someone else, then please contact the suicide hotline. It is 1-800-273-8255, or you can call 911 and they will direct you to individuals that can help you from there as well. Please, if you are having any thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, stop this video immediately and take care of yourself first.
It makes it all alright in time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. Feels so right, it feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying, there's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying.
I've encountered a lot of people who think counselors don't struggle, but it's kind of like saying, because I'm a plumber now, I'm never going to have a pipe to burst in my house again. It's just not possible. Now, one thing that is definitely true is that I think the training we undergo as counselors equips us with tools that we use to help others, and these are also useful for helping us in our struggles along the way. But in addition, and probably the main reason that counselors tend to seem more resilient to challenges, is that we don't have the option of ignoring our challenges. Many individuals that undergo a large struggle have been dealing with it for years, but mental health issues are uncomfortable to resolve, so many just sweep their challenges under the rug little by little until it becomes a very large challenge that is no longer avoidable. Counselors don't really have the option of avoiding their challenges because we have an ethical responsibility to be in an emotionally healthy place in order to help serve our clients. As a counselor, leaving personal challenges unchecked and unexamined, furthermore, working when you are emotionally compromised, has the potential to impede growth and even possibly bring harm to your client. So as clients, we do have an ethical responsibility to keep our mental health in check, which requires us to deal with our issues before they seem insurmountable. It's really not that we're superhuman as counselors, it's that our job forces us to confront our crap.
I would swing across the ocean.
So the method I used to help me work through my symptoms basically was comprised of 3 steps. I first asked, how did this happen? And then secondly, I got to work on my depressive symptoms. And then the third step was that I got to work on my anxious symptoms. And there was a reason that I worked on my depressive symptoms first, but I will be discussing that when I get to that particular step. I discussed most of my thought process on examining how this happened, how my mental health began to decline in the first place at the beginning of the video, but I'll just briefly share it with you guys again. I did find that basically a lack of self-care largely contributed. Normally my mom comes on a weekly basis to help me with tennyson for a day or two, and that gives me a little bit of time for self-care, but that had not happened in 2 weeks, I think. And so I was really at my threshold. I was stretched beyond my emotional resources at that point, and so I think that definitely was a large contributor. I also had not been exercising as much as I need to, and as we all know, Exercise releases serotonin, and so it's great for battling symptoms of depression, also anxiety. It just really is an overall mood booster. So I needed to incorporate more exercise into my life. In addition, my diet was absolute crap. I needed to start eating a little bit better, and I needed to get my social life in check. One, I needed to have more of a social life. I needed to be more than a stay-at-home mom. I really needed to be around people, which is also a great serotonin booster. Being around positive people is a natural antidepressant, and it's so important. And I also needed to get a better grasp on negative influences in my life and minimize my contact with those negative influences. So these are all things I considered on how did this happen. Once I felt that I had gained a lot of clarity on what led to me getting to the place that I was emotionally, I got to work on steps 2 and 3, which were tackling my symptoms.
Don't make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is stars. It's not until you fall that you fly.
When tackling symptoms of depression, I love referring to the importance of the brain and body connection. Depressive symptoms typically originate from a feeling of being stuck. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jack Pinksepp, but he's a leading researcher in the field of neuroscience. He passed away a couple of years ago, which I am very sad about, but he is the author of Effective Neuroscience, and he mapped out 7 primary emotional systems within our brain. He said that the seeking system is essential basically for our survival as humans. It is what enthusiasm feels like. The seeking system is what gives us that motivation to forage for food and find new homes, potentially find a life partner, all of those things that we get excited about. And so typically when someone is feeling depressed, it is a lack of activity within the seeking system. One way to counteract this is to actually do the thing that you do not want to do when you are depressed, which is to get moving. Because our bodies and brains are so heavily connected, you can sometimes trick your brain by moving your body, and the act of moving forward actually reminds you mentally and emotionally that you are not stuck, which is the feeling that you get when you are experiencing depressive symptoms. Simply by taking a walk, simply by making some short-term goals for yourself or giving yourself something to look forward to, it helps you to combat your depressive symptoms by reminding you that you are not stuck where you are, that you have things that are worth living for, that you have things that can help you move through whatever it is you are currently going through.
When your dreams come alive, you're unstoppable. Take a shot, chase the sun, find the beautiful. We will go.
Once I felt that I had effectively dealt with my depressive symptoms, I moved on to my anxious symptoms. Anxiety is basically a mild form of panic, and panic is one of those systems that Jack mapped out within our brain. He said that panic is derived from a lack of security in our environment, and this is easily observable with infants in the wild or even human infants. Baby birds will become distressed when their mother leaves the nest and voice separation cries because they understand that they are more vulnerable to their environment without the protection of their mother. Likewise, many humans, if they have their heads in the future, thinking too much in terms of the future, will become quite anxious because the future is never secure to us. We never know whether or not it's going to happen. So that, of course, provokes a lot of anxiety. In my own situation, I had to find a way to become more secure in my environment. And so what I did was I asked myself a question: how can I feel confident and secure regardless of the outcome of my situation? And I found 2 ways that I could feel confident and secure. One, I knew that my marriage would not be affected. I would still have a healthy, happy marriage. And 2, I knew that I would still have a healthy and happy baby. And just coming to this realization helped me so much. So I took this a step further, and then I 3, took a moment to show gratitude for the fact that I have a happy marriage and a healthy baby. After I did this, the rest of my symptoms seemed to just melt away. Gratitude is a very effective tool, in my opinion, for dealing with almost any mental health issue, and I found this to be true in my case. As soon as I started reflecting on all the things I had to be thankful for, the rest of my symptoms seemed to just melt away. I want to thank you guys again for joining me. I'm going to wrap the voiceover up right here. If you like this format of video, please give it a thumbs up. Please let me know in the comment section if you would like to see this format more often of a clean and mental health chat. Thank you guys for being here. I hope that you find this a useful tool in helping you to become your favorite version of yourself. And I hope you take good care of yourself from here on out. All right, we'll speak soon. Bye.